The silver pen gleamed innocently next to the untouched chocolate torte. But Elena Voss knew the second she lifted it, her life would be chained forever to the Whittaker dynasty. Across the candlelit mahogany table in their sprawling Connecticut estate, heavy silence wrapped around her like chains. The anniversary dinner had started with forced smiles and clinking crystal, but now it reeked of calculated betrayal. "Sign it now," Eleanor Whittaker commanded in that velvet tone sharper than any blade, her fingers laced with aristocratic poise. "Or this marriage ends before sunrise tomorrow." The postnuptial agreement, 15 pages of legal traps designed to strip Elena bare, sat beside the roasted duck like just another course. Marcus Whittaker, her husband of 3 years, kept his gaze glued to his scotch, jaw tight with discomfort. Reginald Whittaker sliced into his meal with deliberate calm, while Sophia, Marcus's sister, examined her nails with bored disdain. Julian Hart, Sophia's husband and the family's ruthless attorney, watched with predatory patience. Elena had endured 3 long years inside this gilded cage, absorbing every subtle cut. These people didn't shout insults, they simply reminded you with every glance and comment how small you were. "You're smart enough to see why families like ours need safeguards," Eleanor added smoothly, adjusting her emerald necklace under the glittering chandelier. "Especially given your background." There it was again. Background, the word that reduced her to a modest upbringing, a struggling single-parent home, and ambitions they dismissed as cute fantasies. They had never bothered asking about her actual work. Marcus had once mentioned her tech startup in passing. They'd laughed it off like a hobby. Elena placed her napkin down with deliberate grace. "I'm not signing." The room froze. Marcus finally met her eyes, panic flashing across his face. Reginald's knife paused mid-cut. Eleanor's smile faltered into icy disappointment. "Then we'll have the marriage annulled immediately," Eleanor replied coldly. Julian leaned forward, smirking. "We checked your records, Elena. Your little company barely scraped together $52,000 last year. We just want protection and full disclosure." Elena held his gaze, her voice soft yet commanding. "Everyone take out your phones. Search for NovaForge Holdings." Skeptical glances were exchanged, but curiosity won. Marcus typed first. His face went ghostly pale within seconds. Reginald snatched his device, Sophia following suit. Eleanor remained statue still, but doubt crept into her eyes. NovaForge wasn't just successful, it was a quiet titan. The conglomerate owned dozens of cutting-edge AI, fintech, and biotech firms. Recent valuations pegged it at $2.8 billion, dwarfing the Whittakers' entire empire of real estate, trusts, and investments. "You," Marcus whispered, voice cracking with disbelief. "You created this?" Elena nodded calmly, closing the unsigned papers. "I launched NovaForge at 23. You never cared to look deeper." Sophia's perfect composure shattered. Julian's smugness evaporated. Elena reached into her sleek clutch and slid a thick envelope across the table. "Since we're being transparent about finances." Reginald's face darkened as she revealed the first document. 18 months ago, your flagship properties were refinanced through Eclipse Finance. I purchased majority control of Eclipse 6 months ago." He started to rise, but Elena's steady command cut through. "Sit down, Reginald." He obeyed instinctively. She turned pages. "Your main credit facility is now in default after a missed payment. And Julian, your offshore accounts at Vanguard Equity received material non-public information on a biotech merger. The authorities received my detailed voluntary report 5 days ago." Julian's color drained completely. Sophia gasped, staring at her husband in horror. Eleanor's flawless mask cracked. Headlights swept across the tall windows as 2 dark SUVs crunched up the driveway. "The regulatory investigators are here for Julian's preliminary interview," Elena said, rising gracefully. "I suggested they come here discreetly rather than drag this into the public eye downtown." No one spoke. The empire of arrogance they'd built had crumbled in minutes. They had spent years belittling the most formidable person at their table. Elena met Eleanor's eyes without rage, only quiet strength. "I never pretended to be someone else. You simply refused to see me." She turned to Marcus, whose face now held raw regret. "I'm still your wife. But what that means from tonight forward is entirely your choice." As she stepped into the crisp night air and walked toward her waiting car, the weight she'd carried for years lifted. The iron gates closed behind her, and Elena Voss drove into the darkness, breathing freely at last, queen of an empire she had built alone, no longer needing anyone's table.